Well, cool. Let's kick this off, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Very first episode of the DoD Dialogues,
Yeah,
right? Doors of Daring Dialogues.
that's it.
So today we're gonna do an AMA style show. Ask me anything. We got some questions from our members. We got those queued up. But before we get into that, I thought maybe we take a couple minutes to introduce ourselves to our listeners.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe viewers if people are watching us on video.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. I'm Jim Powell. I am the owner of CrossFit Doors of Daring. I am an owner along with my wife, Erica. And this is Courtney Barber, our head coach.
Yeah.
I'll let her introduce herself in a moment, but maybe just a little bit more about me. I have a regular job, 9-to-5 job. It's not exactly 9 to 5, but it takes up a lot of my time. And I own this CrossFit gym because I love CrossFit. I've been doing it for CrossFit now for 11 years in a box. And this gym has been open for 6 years, almost 6 years.
Almost 6.
And super proud of it, super proud of what we built here, and super proud to have Courtney Barber, our head coach, joining me today.
Yeah, I came to DoD in early 2021 and fell in love with the culture and what you guys are doing here. And still remember the phone call when Jim was like, let's get you on staff to coach. And I couldn't call my husband fast enough to quit my other job and come coach here. And now coaching full time, getting to really do stuff like this, right? Where we pour back into our community, which I know was a lot of the heart of opening this gym. Give our members what they need, as much of it as we can. That's super cool. I love that.
You used to be a teacher before?
Yeah, and I was a teacher before, and I tell people all the time, I don't miss it because I teach every day here now. But I teach really my first love, which was athletics and movement. So, yeah, that's so exciting.
And it shows through.
And I'm way fitter now than I was then, which is super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, maybe just a little bit more about why we're doing this podcast, and we've been talking about it for a long time.
Yes,
Courtney, so.
and it's finally happening. So we've been getting a lot of questions from members before class, after class, and it's hard to answer those things in that hour window that we have for class, and we try to be really good with members' time. And so what better platform than sort of a longer form session where you and I can talk, share some knowledge, answer members' questions, and hopefully provide another service to them in this video, this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. When Austin and Kiara asked us about this, I was really nervous, but the thought of just providing this as an added value for our members and anybody else that might come upon it, and the idea that, you know, when you've been doing CrossFit or really engaged in any fitness activity for a long time, you sort of pick up things along the way. You learn from coaches, you learn from other members, other people involved in your sport, and you know that IQ, that knowledge that you accumulate, really adds to your overall health and fitness, right? And so I hope that as we move along through this, we just give people little nuggets of wisdom that they can take and file away, and it just makes them better prepared for their hour in the gym, because the other 23 hours a day, they're not here.
Yeah.
Right. And so it just helps them with the rest of their life.
And even inspires them to then go do that for themselves, right? To be collecting those nuggets, and hopefully 10 years down the road, they're in a space where they can share that too.
Yeah, I picked up this is what I heard. Let me go research that more. I mean,
exactly.
Now it's easy to do now.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Maybe I thought we'd start with an icebreaker. I actually do this in my day job. I do this in my day job. When we have big meetings, I'll start and ask everybody an icebreaker question. So maybe just get us started. What did your fitness look like today? Have you gotten anything in? What's your fitness look like?
All right. So for those of people listening who don't know, just had a baby 3.5 months ago, right? So we're working back in postpartum fitness. But today was in class was open repeat 25.3. I made it to the 6 a.m. class before I coached 7 a.m. And in this past year in the open, I finished it in 1640, and today I finished it in 1811, and super proud of that. Tried to keep my same strategy and just hold on. It was a lot spicier today than it was then, a little bit pregnant, but super proud. And actually, we had a whole group of moms over here on this wall that were doing it together. It was moms versus dads. And it was freaking so fun. It was so fun. I'm just claiming that's the winners. I'm just going to say.
Right.
But
Unofficial?
Yeah, unofficial, totally unofficial.
That's
But
good.
but it was, the community we talk about. Like, that was the workout this morning. That was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Jim.
Well, just the fact that you got to start that with "I finished it in," like, a lot of our members, self included, get capped in that workout. So the fact that you get to say "I finished it in" is, that's quite an accomplishment. And 3.5 months postpartum, you still finished it. RX, by the way.
Yeah,
you didn't mention that, but I think we all know.
Jim was my judge the first time around. That was awesome.
Crushed it.
Made it through. Yeah,
Crushed it the first time around. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. Today was one of those days where I couldn't come to the gym. It's a planned day off in the gym for me. So I got in a little run this morning. I ran 3 miles on the treadmill, just nice, easy pace. Tried to keep it zone 2, to just really work that longer sustained effort, 3 miles at a zone 2 pace, and, done, go take a shower, get ready and go to work.
And you've been adding in a little bit more of that stuff lately to your trainings.
I'm 5 or 6 weeks into making sure I get at least 1 zone 2 session a week. And some weeks I can fit in 2.
Yeah.
And it's been good. It's really helped me with some of the more moderate length Metcons.
Yeah.
So I'm digging it. I'm just experimenting with it. And
consistent run clubber too.
Yeah. But that most of the time that's not zone 2 because I'm with our coach, Coach Katie, who coaches Run Club. I'm with her, and you cannot be zone 2 running. Katie.
She's zone 2. You're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
All right. Well, maybe just a little housekeeping. And we didn't bring an example up here. We thought we might, but that's all right.
Okay.
A little housekeeping. We don't have sponsors or any of that.
No.
This is our very first podcast, so I don't think many people who do their first podcast have sponsors. But just a little housekeeping to let everybody know about a promotion we're running in the gym. We have gift certificates for sale. We are selling our on-ramp package, which normally sells for $339. And our on-ramp package, for those of you that don't know, is 4 personal training sessions, one-on-one with a coach that really prepares you for group CrossFit classes. And that $339 package is on sale for $100. One of our members, any of you, can purchase that $100 gift certificate, and fill it out and gift it to a friend or a family member who's CrossFit or just fitness curious. Like they're into it, and they get a $339 value for $100.
Yeah. And I love that. Really what that means is they come into the space, kind of learn what CrossFit is, meet our coaches, see our community, and get 4 really great workouts, so that, they can decide, is this what's going to keep me healthy and going for the rest of 2026? Right?
Yeah. And what do we always say, right? It's not for everyone, but it's for anyone.
For anyone, right?
Yeah. Anyone can
willing
do it.
to walk through these doors and give it their best shot and work hard.
That's right.
Yeah, be coached. Right. Yeah.
Well, cool. That's the housekeeping done and dusted.
First
let's get on to these questions.
Okay.
Now, here's the reveal, right? The old man glasses got to come out.
It was time. We knew it was coming.
If I'm gonna read these, I gotta have my old man glasses.
We knew it was coming.
It's all right. You too, when you get old, will need reading glasses.
Age group athletes are still incredible.
So we're trying our best. Okay. So our first question, how many times a week would you recommend when starting CrossFit? So how many times a week would you recommend someone come into the gym?
Right off the bat, we're just talking about on-ramp. I'm going to tell someone 3 days a week when you're starting out. That allows them to have some really good high intensity on each of those days, but to recover well, to move through some soreness when that soreness starts to accumulate, to start gaining some skills and learning things without being too overwhelmed by just too much. That 3 days a week also allows them to find a balance in their schedule and make it really consistent over months and months, which is really what we want to see. So that 3 days a week for 3 to 6 months is really what we recommend. And then they can start to increase that number as their capacity increases. As we know, we kind of get hooked on coming to class and being with our friends, right? But that can sometimes be a trap, which is why we say, hey, 3 times a week, really to avoid injury as well, keep ourselves healthy. If we're too wrecked after 5 days a week workouts, just starting all those things, we start not wanting to go back, not because we don't love it, but just because our body wasn't ready to handle that kind of volume yet. Yeah, you can kind of speak to that too, Jim.
Yeah, I think one of the things we always talk about when we talk about this is what's your training age?
Yeah.
Before you start CrossFit. The question is framed when starting CrossFit, but it doesn't always mean that's like the first fitness thing you're doing.
Real beginner,
right?
Correct, yeah.
For many of us, that is like what got us off the couch was CrossFit. But if you have some fitness under your belt, you've been doing something else. Maybe you've been running 3, 4, 5 times a week. Maybe you came to us from Orange Theory or something like that, where you've been very consistently moving your body 3, 4, 5 times a week. Maybe you could shorten that cycle and think about come 3 days a week for the first 4 or 5 weeks and then start to up it a little bit. It does depend on your background a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
But true beginners, I totally agree with you. I think 3 to 6 months at that very consistent 3 times a week is going to really lock you in. And then you're going to start to see your ability to increase your intensity. Your recovery time is going to shorten.
Yeah.
And you're going to want to be in here more often. One of the things that I've seen at Doors of Daring over the last few years is people get into like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday rhythm, and then they really want to be here on Saturday. Like they want to be here for the big group class,
workout.
right? So that ends up being their 4th day that they add a lot. And then it depends on everybody's schedule, but like that 4th day ends up being that big community day, a partner workout for a lot of people. That's the thing that puts them into that next day of training.
Exactly.
From 3 to 4. Cool. Anything else you want to add there?
I think, there's kind of 2 pitfalls there, right? You have the people who struggle to come in those 3 days. And so that's really important, just talking with a coach or a person in your class who you've connected with to make sure you have that good, caring accountability. But also like people like me, is coming off literally being a professional athlete. I tried everything. I found CrossFit. I was so obsessed with it right away. But even my body as a professional athlete got really beat up really fast doing too much, right? And so that's where you can talk with a coach too, just creating a good plan. Hey man, I really want to be in here every day, but like let's walk through what this looks like to keep me healthy while I'm learning, while I'm trying new skills, right?
Yeah, we even see that. We see that with some athletes who maybe have had a gap.
Yeah.
Like done with college, they take a
So
few
ready.
years off.
Yeah.
They've had a gap of 2, 3, 4 years where they really haven't done much. And they come in here and they try to hit it really hard. And, you can get yourself in trouble kind of quickly with CrossFit with the intensity.
Yeah.
So I think, trying to govern that just a little bit in the early days.
And have a plan.
To develop that consistency, right? I think that's super important.
Yeah.
All right. How about the next?
Excellent.
Want to go to the next one?
Yeah. Let's do question 2.
Cool. So the next question is, how can athletes plan additional drills and training for specific events around class without overloading muscle groups and causing burnout? If you want, I'll maybe take the first crack at this one. Cool. Well, I think this breaks up into a couple of different categories. I think if we approach it from, you're training for a specific event, right? You've got an event that, maybe it's a local CrossFit competition, maybe it's a High Rocks that you're going to go run. I think the key is to figure out what in that event do you feel like you need to work on that you're not getting in class, right? So first, think about that, right? If the workout is, if the workouts for this event are all wheelhouse movements that we do in here anyway, and you feel like, I'm in pretty good shape, maybe you should just think well, this training is going to prepare me for that event, and I don't need to do anything extra. If it's a high rocks event, as an example, maybe you want to get a little more running in. So run club, 7 a.m., Saturdays,
Pitch it.
Coach Katie.
Can't wait till I can do it again.
Yeah, you know, maybe you want to get a little more running in if you're
Yeah.
going to do high rocks, because we do some running here. But, you know, a high rocks event is 8,000 meters of running, right? It's a lot. 5 miles. It's a lot of running, and that's really where you make up most of your time is on the runs. So just think about the event itself. What's different, right? And then for me, usually that breaks down into one of two things. If it's not running, so it's either lifting or it's gymnastics.
Exactly.
Right. And so you put the things that you want to work on for the event in one of those two buckets. And I think we can give you different approaches to handle those two things. So maybe you want to jump in on one of those.
I think the other part of that too is if you just see big gaps in your workouts and things you want to be able to approach, maybe RX in workouts, because that's kind of where I came from as far as gymnastics went when I first started CrossFit. So, you know, that could be for a competitive setting or just in your daily CrossFit workouts. And I think there's kind of two occasions where you could work on some of these things, right? One is, and the one that's kind of going to give you the most bang for your buck is at open gym or on the weekends, right? During open gym too. And there's kind of two varieties. On my end, I've done more of the gymnastic style training, but we're thinking drill work, right? Specific skills, not just coming in here and trying to bang out bar muscle ups until miraculously they might happen. But talking to a coach, doing some of your own research online. It's so cool now. There's so much available to everyone for free. Finding some drills and some skills that you can work on in small chunks, 15 to 20 minutes at a time. And I've even fallen prey, like, I just want to get this right, you know, and chipping away 45 minutes. But we're not getting better at that point. We're just tired. Yeah. If anything, we're ingraining bad habits, and that's not good either. So especially when it comes to new skills, like a double under would fall in that category too, a rope climb, not just our rig skills, but small chunks of time consistently, just once or twice a week for most people would be plenty. And you could also do that type of work before or after class. You just can come to class 15 minutes early, stay 15 minutes late, and you consult with the coach to just make sure you're out of the way of class. Make sure you're not stealing equipment from people or in the way. Then you can sneak those kind of drills in too. Because think about it. I mean, if you're trying to get better at toes to bar, you can be doing really great hollow holds and arch shapes and leg raises and V-ups and all that stuff in a corner, and you're not bothering anyone, but it's making you better, you know, over the course of months. That's exactly actually how I built my toes to bar when I was first starting CrossFit, right? I know you've had a lot of experience on the weightlifting side of things, sort of a couple different ways too, but from your experience for members wanting to build strength, what's a really good way to do that?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things when you think about approaching lifting in addition to CrossFit classes, you've got to be really mindful of, you know, this programming fatigue, this idea that you're going to overwork the same muscle groups, right? The same movement patterns, right? You don't want to spend 3 days, 4 days a week below parallel with weight on you.
Right?
2,000
squats in a week.
So you gotta really look at the programming. And then I like your idea of in the gymnastics setting, 15, 20 minutes, work on the skill, practice. We're practicing. We're not killing ourselves.
Not doing the skill 500 times.
We're not trying to achieve a certain amount of volume. It's practice when you're learning gymnastic skills. There comes a time when you want to get to volume and you want to be able to perform these skills under fatigue, right? On the weightlifting side, it is about getting the volume in. It's about getting the reps and the weight on your body and moving the weight, you know, obviously safely after a really solid warm up. but it's going to be a little bit longer session. You can't really get in a 5x5 front squat in 15, 20
You
minutes.
need your rest time.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to spend 15, 20 minutes, maybe longer if you're an old person, right? You're going to spend a little longer warming up, right? Really getting the body moving, getting your mobility drills in and doing what you need to do to get your body moving. And then you're going to want to leave ample time for whatever the sets and reps are and get that in. And really, as you said before, the best time to do that is open gym, right? The open gym that we have every day is 3 hours long. If you come in, pick an hour and work at whatever you want to work at. Open gym on the weekends is 2 hours long, 1 hour before class on Saturday and 2 hours after class. And then on Sunday, it's 2 hours. So you have lots of time to come in here.
And that's great for people who
and do your
work
thing
during the week. And totally sufficient
and
on top of what we do in class.
Exactly. And then so to that point about on top of what we do in class, I think the best way that I've found to really navigate that, and there was a weird period where I was doing like almost only weightlifting and doing very little class work, and I'm over that now.
Yeah.
But if I want to get lifting in, I'm looking back at the programming from the week. So I get my lifting in when I want to do a lifting session on Sunday.
Yep.
And I'm looking back at the previous week, seeing what we did in terms of lifting movements, and just try not to repeat one of those.
Yeah.
So if we did back squat one day and push press another day, for our lifting sessions, that Sunday might be a deadlift for me, right? Or a power clean for me. So I'm not repeating one of those movements from earlier in the week. And I try really hard not to look ahead and try to game it. So I'm like threading the needle.
Too many factors.
You're just going to end up in a quandary. Yeah. And worst case there, you do some deadlifts on Sunday and then you do some more deadlifts on Wednesday. Worst case scenario.
And you can shift the load and whatever if we need to.
You can learn from that still. But I think looking back just gives you something to ground yourself on rather than trying to play games. Right. Yeah. So a dedicated lifting session, focus on one movement, do it well, get your reps in and get out.
I think consistency is the biggest thing too.
Yeah.
Whichever goal, whichever approach they take, it's not just going to happen if you're doing that, a couple days a week or 1 day a week for a month.
Yeah.
It does take time to build these skills, especially to put on muscle mass.
Yeah.
Actually takes way longer, right? Arguably than building some of these skills. And so I think just consistency, doing, what is sufficient, but doing it week after week after week. So it matters. Yeah.
I think there's an acronym that somebody once taught me. I forget who it was, but focus, right? Follow one course until successful. Right.
Love
and so when I think about extra work that I'm trying to do, I'm doing one thing and it's not overkill. I'm picking 2 days a week, maybe 3 days a week for a gymnastics skill.
I need that in my life.
And 15, 20 minutes, but I'm focused on that thing and that thing only. I'm not trying to kill all of my weaknesses all at once. I'm going to pick one, I'm going to wrestle it to the ground, and I'm going to beat it, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing.
I think that's a good reminder for our goal board. We're going to hype that up in January.
Focus.
It's like we don't need 10 goals up there. We need like 1 or 2 good ones. Yeah. Focus.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Cool.
Next question.
I wish I remember who told me that. That's a good one.
Credit to whoever gave it to you.
All right, this is going to be a big reading session here. So this is a series of questions that we thought we'd group together because they're very related. But I'm going to read all the questions because I want people to have that personal connection.
And
like that's their
picture.
question,
Yeah.
So these questions are all related. I think they cover a lot of the same topic. And here they are. So how do you help athletes avoid burnout? Scheduling recovery days, rest and recovery indicators such as guidance on interpreting muscle soreness, specifically detailing when to push through versus when to recognize signs that a rest day is necessary for recovery and optimal performance, and how long is too long between workouts, like 3 days won't hurt your consistency, etc. Right? So that's a laundry list of, hey, how do I avoid burning out? How much is too much?
So we kind of already talked about, like, for beginners, how many times should they come?
Yeah.
As they get into it, how much is too much? How much should we be resting? First off, CrossFit encourages people to do 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. But we typically, or 3 days on, 1 day off. Excuse me, just repeat,
On
right?
repeat, yeah.
Yes, on repeat. But for most people, that might look like just a continuing schedule of 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off.
Right.
Or maybe even for a lot of people, they can't come in here in the weekends. So it's 5 days on, 2 days off, right? But having that little rest day in the middle of a big chunk is so helpful.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. I don't care how long you've been doing this, especially if you've been doing it a long time, right? That 1 day off in the middle helps you bring your best to your next few workouts, which matters, right? We're not in here to just kill ourselves. We're in here to get better, to become fitter, to have longevity. And your body needs time to recover, to build those muscles, to have health, right? So I think that's kind of the first thing. I think there's also something to listening to your body, right? You can feel when that fourth day, that fifth day, or even just it's been, 4 months straight of whatever your routine is, and your body's like, man, this has been a lot, I'm beat down. Maybe you got other stuff going on in your life. And I just need maybe another rest day or whatever that is. I think listening to that is super important, but to a certain degree,
Yeah.
right? Like we can't just then start to give in to every little excuse, every little headache, every little sniffle, every little, well, I'm really sore from this, right? Because actually coming in the gym sometimes on those days is the best thing that you could do to feel
Right
better.
on, right on.
Right. And so I think as you do this more, and especially with CrossFit, as you learn your body, as you learn, your capacities and stuff, you fine tune that a little bit. Like, when am I just not really feeling it? And when do I really need to give my body what it needs? I think more often than not, get in the gym, stick to the schedule, right? 3 days on, 1 day off. But there are some times where, more might be needed.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that shout out for like, sometimes when you're sore, the best thing is to get in here and move.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a coach, an owner at a previous gym that I was a member at. I won't shout him out here, but he was big on every year after we did Murph, like everybody's celebrating, having a cookout after we did Murph. He would always be like, get in here tomorrow.
Yes.
You will feel better if you come in here and move tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And he was spot on. He was spot on. Even if you came in and you were feeling wrecked and you were moving really slow, just moving the body after Murph or really any long, hard effort.
Every year after Chad, we do it on a Saturday. And I tell people, please move at home, walk, do something at home. Because if you just sit on your couch after Chad,
ouchie.
Yikes.
Ouchie.
Yeah. Monday's workout's not going to be fun.
Yeah. And your body will just bind up on you.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about listen to your body, but within reason, right? I think, our world around us is filled with sort of comfort, right? It's not like it was 1,000 years ago. Like, we don't have a lot of discomfort in our lives. We all come in here like willingly to be uncomfortable,
exactly.
Right? To be a beginner at a new thing, to work hard, to do hard things. Remember that's why you're here. And exactly. Even if I'm a little sore, my quads are really sore from all those squats, well, just come in here and scale and do your best. There's a lot of benefit in just starting the thing. Just show up, come in, put your stuff in the cubbies, go up to the whiteboard and start the warm up. Just start. And if you get into the warm up and you're just like done, just tell the coach, I'm done. Today's not it. I got to go. But I guarantee you, if you just start the warm up, you're going to feel better and you're going to get into it and you will feel better when you leave here than when you walk through the door. So especially if you're smart about not trying to hammer it with intensity on that day, right? To me, that's the listening to your body. I'd rather is like, how hard am I going to hit it today? Not, am I going to show up? Like, am I going to show up as a yes all the time?
Exactly.
Right. If that's your planned day, right? 3 days on, 1 day off, like stay dedicated to it, stick to it. And then, be smart. If you tweak something, you tweak something, give yourself the rest that you need. If you feel like you need to go see somebody about it, then do that. But just run of the mill soreness, little back's a little tight after a lot of 225 deadlifts, like, okay, that's normal.
Yeah.
Like, come in here, do some good mornings and keep it moving.
I think too, another part of that is planning recovery days. I don't think a lot of us do that well enough. And I put myself in that box, especially as like busy mom, all the things. Sometimes recovery days, I'm just like, oh, I can't get in the gym this day or whatever, right? But if you're someone who struggles with, is this muscle soreness or am I, should I get in the gym or whatever, right? Then it's like, have a plan, stick to that plan, unless it's something monumental. That's kind of the best way to go about it. And I know part of that question was, how long is too long between workouts? How many will hurt my consistency? I think, like if you can't make it in here in the weekend, that's 2 days, that's fine. If you tweak your back, you can be out for a couple days, that's fine. Even if you've been going hard, the entire year and you're going family vacation and now you've got 6-7 days, my kids are going to eat that up. 6-7, I shouldn't have said that. But you have this full week of days where you can't make it in the gym. Like, it is okay. That is fine. You are not going to fall off the rails. Yeah. It's not going to hurt your consistency. If anything, it will make the heart grow fonder and you'll be excited to come back to the gym. I tell people this all the time. We are in the gym to build fitness for outside of the gym. We love CrossFit. We love what we do. But if we aren't making our lives outside the gym better, it's sort of only half of what we're trying to accomplish, right? Maybe not even half. So if you are going on vacation, put your fitness to use. Go on the hike, try a surf lesson, do something where I had a member share this with me. He joined a couple months prior to a ski trip, I think with his family, and he wanted to get in better shape so he could enjoy the ski trip. I love that he even had that mindset to come into CrossFit to get fit for the ski trip.
That's awesome.
That's the message we're trying to send. Yeah. And he said, even after a couple months, he felt the effects of that. But now they're about to go on the next, he's been coming, over a year, and they're about to go on the ski trip again. And he was like, I'm so excited to feel just so much better and to put that into use. So I think we almost have to give ourselves those occasions, whether it's like going to a Spartan race or we're on vacation, we just want to go on a walk on the beach with our families, whatever. That's part of smart training over what we want to see as like years and decades, right? Yeah. I want to be in here doing this when I'm 80. And that's, part of that is you got a week every now and then where you relax and you enjoy your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And just make it part of a plan.
Yeah.
Like, I am going to purposefully take these days off, and then Monday I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit it.
Don't let the week become.
Yeah. It's got to be part of a thoughtful plan. Like, I need this. I know that I need this, and I know I need to be back on Monday. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Have some people call you, text you, whatever to get you back in.
Just be deliberate about it. And that's all the consistency stuff we talked about before, right? It all ties together.
That's why the community side of CrossFit, I think, is so important.
Yeah, because you're going to have somebody text you, aren't you back?
Where you been?
Aren't you back from Bermuda? Like, why aren't you here? The next question that we have, good to move on?
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Next question we have is about hormones, Courtney. Mm-hmm. Talking about hormones.
I'm postpartum, Jen.
Okay.
Tread lightly.
All right. Tread lightly. So, can you give us an overview of how high intensity functional training affects key hormones such as cortisol, testosterone, growth hormone, etc., and the practical implications for athletes?
Good question. Yeah.
You want to take this first swing at it, or you want me to?
Well, I'm just going to generally say that hormones, especially when we get detailed nitty gritty blood testing, blah, 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 that stuff, is for medical professionals, right? It's just Jim and Court here.
We didn't stay at the Holiday Inn Express last night, so we are not doctors.
No, we're not doctors. We do not have medical degrees. We have been around this space a long time. You know, I know a thing or two about nutrition from some certifications, blah, blah, blah. We're not medical professionals. So while we both have, I think, taken a dive into a lot of research just out of our own curiosity and trying to help members and things. So I think where we have our knowledge from comes from good sources. We're both nerds that way. Like, we gotta say that. Like, if you want to dive into the nitty gritty, you got to talk to your doctor. You got to do some research for yourself. But we absolutely can kind of touch on these a little bit too. Cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna pivot that to you because you really are more of like the science nerd. Yeah. And I know you love that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. I think it's important, right? This is not medical advice, but I think if we start with cortisol, that's that seems to be the one that's getting a lot of attention right now. Yeah. There's a lot of influencers out there that are, I think, demonizing cortisol, and it seems to be the
worst thing ever.
Seems to be the thing
especially
right now.
For moms, for women.
Yeah.
Cortisol's wrecking our lives.
And there's this whole association of, if your cortisol is too high for a sustained period, you're going to have all this belly fat. There's a lot of pseudoscience out there. And I think, we've talked about this a little bit. I think it's a little disgusting, if I can use that word, that usually comes with a recommended protocol that they're selling.
There's
right?
a price tag to that.
Yeah, cortisol is really bad for you. And here's what I'm selling you that can help regulate your cortisol.
Yeah.
The facts of it are that cortisol is a necessary hormone that helps deliver nutrients to your body, right? And your body increases the amount of cortisol to bring nutrients to your body when it needs it, right? It's sort of the flight or fight.
Yeah. AKA when we do high intensity exercise.
So when you
or any
dose up your body with high intensity work, your body says, man, I need some nutrients. Like I gotta have fuel to do this work. And so it begins producing more cortisol. That's normal. Your cortisol will still stay elevated until you rest, come down from that workout. And oh, by the way, that cycle will help you sleep better at night.
Yeah.
That production of cortisol and then the use of it and the burning of it, like all of that helps you sleep better. It's a natural cycle. It's a good thing. And I don't really understand all the demonization of it. I think there's a lot of junk science out there. There's a lot of people trying to make profit off of it. But I don't think in general people should be scared about it. Now, we'll go back to you and I aren't wearing lab coats. Yeah. We don't have PhDs and MDs and all that. But there are conditions where cortisol can stay elevated, in a very small percentage of people.
Diagnosable conditions.
It's a diagnosable condition. There's two of them. One of them is called Cushing's syndrome, and the other is called Cushing's disease. And they're both diagnosable, and they both are like an inability to sort of regulate cortisol. And it's like a teeny tiny fraction of the population that has this disease. And if you feel like you are that person, you feel like your cortisol levels are elevated, well, go get yourself tested, right? There are tests for this now. But the average athlete that we have walking into Doors of Daring, it has elevated cortisol when they're mid-workout and probably after the workout. And then their amazing bodies take care of all that. It's like normal.
It's awesome.
And it shouldn't be something that we're freaked out about.
Exactly. I think too, kind of like the other two little hormones that were brought up were testosterone and growth hormone, right? And I think just a very simple overview kind of off of what you were saying is we know that putting load on our bodies, just like high intensity, creates this cortisol stimulation that's good for our body, right? Weight-bearing movements, such as those that we do in CrossFit, right, have been proven to do really great things for testosterone levels, natural production of growth hormone, all these things. Yeah. And like in the population that I work with, we could go even further, right? These women who are perimenopausal, menopausal, right? How amazing it is for their hormonal balance to be in here lifting weights, doing this type of training, right? We don't even need to get in the weeds of it, right? But just looking at the forest type research, that this type of exercise stimulates the balance and regulation that we want to see for a lot of these kind of hormonal questions that people have. On the cortisol side of it specifically, I really get passionate about, like, when I see a lot of this stuff on social media and it's overcomplicating fitness for women, especially, but males too. But, you know, you have all these women asking me, how do I get in shape? How do I look good? How do I feel good? And it can be a really simple answer, right? Show up to the gym 3 days a week, eat pretty good food, try to get a good night's sleep, right? And instead, you have all of this noise saying, you know, this and this and this and this, and cortisol often is included in that, right? And it just kind of breaks my heart that it's overcomplicated such that it kind of pushes people away from something that could be very simple and could change their lives, right? I think there's a lot more ways to handle the stress that is in your life as a busy parent, professional, whatever you might be. You know, something that someone had to literally coach me through one time, but I'm so grateful. Like, before you get out of your car to see your kids or whatever busy thing you might be going through, like, take a couple deep breaths, right? Create some better habits around your sleep schedule. Those are way more powerful tools that you can use to normalize the stress in your life, and bring yourself down, that feeling of like anxiety that everyone attributes to high cortisol, right? Those are way more powerful than trying to nail down how much cortisol do I have and where's it coming from and blah, blah, blah. And spending all that money trying to figure it out. Like, let's just try to actually balance out a lot of the stressors that are coming from the other 23 hours of your life, not what we're doing in the gym 3 days a week or whatever, right? So
and focusing on those little habits that you can, you know, ingrain to help you manage your stress, so that your stress doesn't become an inhibitor with one of those other 3 really important pillars that you talked about, right? Working out consistently, eating, you know, healthy food consistently, and getting good sleep. And stress can really negatively impact all 3 of those things, right? Like, who doesn't every once in a while stress eat, right? And who doesn't maybe struggle to get to sleep if they're under too much stress, right? And, you know, who might skip a workout because they're feeling stressed out with what's going on at home or at work or whatever. So stress can be a negative influence on any of those big 3, right? But the more we can sort of use small habits to sort of help manage our stress, now we keep on point with those 3.
And lastly, like, for a lot of us, coming into the gym is just as much a psychological aid and normalizer as it is a physical, you know, thing that we do. So I know for me, and I talk to members all the time about it, if I'm not getting in the gym my normal days of the week and all those things, my mental health starts to decline, right? The joy that I'm feeling, the type of mother I'm able to be, all those things starts to take a hit. I need to come in here and just like throw down hard sometimes, and it makes me a better person. It helps me handle the rest of the stressors in my life better. Right.
I think a lot of us are a little bit crazy like
It's
that,
not just,
right? Like, I gotta have it.
And that's what leads to people coming in here 7 days a week. And I gotta tell them, like,
there's that balance.
Have an
right?
intervention.
There's that balance. Like, you want to balance that, but I'm the same way.
Come here and foam roll. It's okay.
I gotta have it. Like, and the people around me know if I haven't worked out for 2-3 days, like, they know, and it's not good. They're like, Jim, go to the gym,
please.
Oh, right there's the door. Get out of here. Go to the gym. We're both in that same camp.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Last one. Last question. We've made it to.
So don't talk too much.
To the last question. Can you talk about foundational nutrition principles? You know, give us a practical summary outlining basic nutrition guidelines, fundamental bottom line of what members should be eating to support their training. A lot of meat on that bone.
Okay. Very similar to what we were talking about, hormone stuff, right? Let's keep this simple, Like, let the foundations be the foundations. Keep it simple. Do the little things right. And then go down a rabbit hole once you've nailed them, right? I think those simple things are get enough protein, right? Like, you can argue about how many grams and all the things, and that's awesome. But, if you think about just we were talking zero 0.7, 0.8 grams per your body weight of protein every day. I think for many, many, many people, that's challenging enough in itself.
Feels like a lot.
Yes, it
starting
feels
out.
so much,
Yeah.
especially when now I've built all this muscle mass and I'm not like the lightest person ever. And that's a lot of protein. How do I even eat that much protein? I mean, that alone, just establishing that consistency could take a long time, right? But then, once we nailed down having enough protein, we talked about food quality. Are we eating fruits and vegetables? Last year we did a fruits and veggies challenge, and it was an eye opener for so many people. And I love people's honesty because they're like,
3.
yeah, I won. And it was iceberg lettuce from my fridge that I force fed myself, right?
Fistfuls of it.
Yes, just I had to do it. No, but getting our body the nutrients it needs from some of those fruits and veggies. If we're doing that, if we're getting enough protein, man, we're on a really good track. And that's probably helping you to not overeat a lot of the junk because we're filling up on the good stuff, right? Just quality protein, and foods that provide the nutrients our body needs. So then it's like you still can enjoy a lot of the foods that you love because you're giving your body what it needs already. You're less likely to overconsume those kind of nutrient dense things.
Yeah.
And I can have my little sweet treat every single night because I know that I'm giving my body what it needs other times, and I don't have to overthink it any more than that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea that the first 2 things help regulate the third thing.
Yes.
Right. If you focus
quantity.
on protein, focus on quality, then your belly's full of enough good stuff that you're really not hungry enough to binge on, a half a dozen donuts. You're just not hungry enough, right? So you're not going to eat as much, food that's going to really knock you over what you want to consume in a day because it just isn't, you're just not hungry for it. Now, exceptions abound, right?
Of course.
There's always
especially
exceptions.
coming up the holidays.
Everybody's got their, their special cookies and things they like to make for the holidays.
And eat them.
Enjoy
Please
it.
eat them.
Yeah. That's our message.
Don't make yourself
right?
sick, but
right?
eat the cookie. Yeah.
Start the day with a good breakfast where you're getting a lot of protein and you're eating a lot of, I get in a lot of my fruits and veggies at my breakfast.
Nice.
I try to get in, a good 300 to 400 grams by weight.
What veggies do you eat at breakfast, Jim?
Usually not too many veggies for breakfast, to be fair. If there are some days where I'll get some of those little cherry tomatoes and have some of those.
I love a sweet potato at breakfast
on my
too.
car ride in to here.
Yeah.
I'll have some cherry tomatoes. But most of the time, breakfast for me is a collection of snacks.
The biggest apple.
It's the biggest apple
on the planet.
A banana, some grapes. I'll have a little oats, overnight oats, and then a protein shake. And so it's a collection of snacks is my breakfast usually. But I get in a lot of my fruits and veggies in breakfast and lunch, and then I have lots of options for dinner. And just try to keep it simple. Like you said, our fruits and veggies challenge that we had last year was really revealing. A lot of people were like, wow, I have never tried that fruit or that veggie, and that made me think differently about that part of the store. And I think for people who just want to keep it simple, I heard, another influencer online talk about this, and I love the way she puts it. If you don't like thinking about weighing and measuring your food, and you don't want to think about trying to get in 800 grams of fruits and vegetables every day, if you can't think about it that way, well, think about getting 6 servings in of fruits and vegetables. Well, what's a serving, Jim? Well, take your hand like this, your fist. If you're a small person, you have a small fist. Well, you probably need to eat less than a big person who has a big fist.
Yeah.
So that works,
Big
right?
fist.
So 6 of these every day. Well, that sounds really hard. Yeah. Really? It's 2 with every meal.
And
right?
same with protein, fist
Yeah.
at one each at every meal,
Yeah.
right? 3 or
Yeah.
4 meals.
So you have, you have this many green beans, you have an apple, bam, you're
Done.
good for that meal. And then you move on to your next meal and you have 3 meals like that throughout the day. And you have nailed your fruits and veggies target, which is quality, increasing the quality of what you're eating. You add in your protein and then it's gonna self-regulate your quantity.
Yeah.
And I mean, for most people starting out with just trying to eat better, I don't even want them thinking about quantity. Like, don't think about quantity. And sure as heck, don't start demonizing what you're eating.
Yes.
Like, just don't think about, I got to throw all this out. I got to set up my food environment right. I think those are things that tip people over a little bit, and then they start to obsess.
Yeah.
Now, there's a point in time for that.
Exactly. And
There's a
that's
point
kind of
for-
where I was going to go. Yeah.
You can graduate to that.
Exactly.
But I think when you're just starting out on your journey and you just want to start thinking about your nutrition like you think about your workouts, begin simply, begin with something simple.
Yeah.
Just make one change.
And that, I think, has to be the foundation. Like you're saying, you can go so much deeper into it.
Oh, yeah.
Like we love nutrition coaching. I think we've both worked with coaches before, different structures. Obviously, we have a great nutrition coach here, Coach Jake, who can help you go into the weeds, who can help you go more fine tune, for you. But if you can't stick to a fistful of protein at every meal, to a couple fistfuls of fruits and veggies and that sort of thing, then the going down into the weeds isn't going to work any better, right? That's the foundation, and then we fine tune, right? I think part of this question was also like, I had some questions about seed oil, organic or, non-organic foods, dark cherry juice, etc. Right? I love that. Actually, Coach Katie gave me some dark cherry
Is it
juice
good?
when that was a little tasty.
Is
It was
it
a
good?
little pre-sleep beverage.
Really?
It's nice. And so all of those things, you can go down a rabbit trail on that, right? And there's, science and all this stuff, some of which, I kind of, and I think it's still sort of new, and these are all kind of like trendy topics, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, take that with a grain of salt. Like if something's lasting decades, like, okay, now I hear you on this, right?
Like the creatine
Yes.
craze, right? That stood the test of time, right?
It stood the test of time, and like the research, I mean, even more so than protein, right, has been shown. So yeah, I mean, you nailed it on the head. But some of these things, like, let's just see how they hold up to time. Let's just see if you can nail the foundations, and then we start fine tuning. Preferably, honestly, I love it with a coach helping you, someone who's, can hold you accountable. I think also on the nutrition side of things, just the coach in me, I get a lot of people who come in here to work out, especially on their on-ramp, actually, their first couple workouts, and they haven't eaten anything, right?
Oh.
And I think that, I know, the training I was doing before CrossFit, a lot of people, you have to train fasted. That's the only way you're ever going to lose body fat, right? Especially for this style of training, maybe if you're doing far lower intensity workouts and you're not putting load on your body, et cetera, to each their own. But for this style of training, your body needs fuel.
Yeah.
And so I love what you were just sharing about how you eat a lot of your fruits and veggies in the mornings, and because you work out at 5 a.m.
Yep.
And so on your way here, you're getting a lot of fruit, which is easy to digest, fast carbohydrates, right? And so your body has really good fuel, even on the oats, right? A little slower digesting there for maybe a longer Metcon that's helpful. But you're getting those right before your body needs it. And then I know you eat your giant apple right after the workout. And so your body has those carbohydrates to help it recover. Right? Yeah. Because if we're in here wanting to recomposition our body, right? I want my muscles to be bigger and I want there to be less fat mass. That's always what I get from everyone, right? Yeah. Well, your muscles aren't going to get any bigger. You're not going to get any shape or tone to your body unless they can recover. Yeah. And they have to have some sort of recovery fuel, right? And the best way for that is carbohydrates. We know we need protein too. And so what we already talked about are fistfuls of protein and veggies, right? That's the only other kind of factor I'll add to it as a coach
Yeah.
who sees people in here often, right? Some of those, preferably, would be pretty close to our workouts, right? I'm not going to be that person. You must get it in within 30 minutes or whatever. We don't need any of that, right?
Yeah.
But don't do your workout at 6 a.m. and the next time you eat is 3 p.m., right? So our body's struggling to recover. We're going to get a big energy crash and then, a lot of other things. So be mindful of, I'm working out at 6 a.m. I gotta get some fuel around that time too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And, coming from somebody who did intermittent fasting for a while
Yeah.
and would work out fasted 5 a.m. every morning for a long time. Those were not my best days performance wise. They were not. Now I lost some weight, but they were not my best days in the gym and really subpar for performance because I just didn't have the fuel. You wake up, you haven't eaten since 8 p.m. the night before, and you try to come in here and do Fran. Like, come on now. Like that's crazy. So yeah, I love all that. And it's interesting that you're seeing that in some of our on-ramp clients and you have the opportunity to train them. Yeah. I think the other key thing that I love that you went into is the seed oils and things like that, and sort of some of those trends that are out there. Again, people trying to demonize things, and I don't think the science is there. But even if it is, I'll just submit to you, even if the science is there,
a little bit,
you can find a study, that shows you that seed oils are gonna give you 1%, right? My question is always, do you have these other 3 things dialed in first? Yeah. Because if you don't have good quality, enough protein, and you're managing your quantity, but you're like, well, I definitely always have almond oil instead of, of vegetable oil. Well, like you are focused on the wrong things. Like you are really majoring in the minors, and you just don't need that. Like, turn your focus to the things that matter the most. When we talk about CrossFit, we talk about mechanics, consistency, and intensity.
And then intensity.
Right? And, I would put all of that stuff, all of the little tiny things off to the side as like the pinnacle of intensity in nutrition. Yeah. And like, let's get the mechanics and the consistency on the big things right first. Yeah. I think that's the key message there. Just keep it simple until you've nailed all those things. And we were talking before, I've been at this for, I don't know, I guess I started doing P90X in like 2009. So I've been pretty dedicated to my fitness for 16 years now. And I don't have all this nutrition stuff figured out. I'm still trying to dial in those 3
as far
big
as
things.
Being consistent with it.
Still trying to get it right and trying to make sure I have the right mix of muscle mass and fat because I can slim down easy, but it's really hard for me to maintain weight.
And be strong.
I'm on that weird spectrum, right? That side of it. So like, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. And I'm not focused on any of those little things. Like, cause I've spent 16 years messing around with the big, the big rocks.
And I just want to free up headspace for a lot of our members too, right? Yeah. Like we already have enough on our mental load. Yeah. We're trying to be, great professionals and great spouses and great parents. And you do not need to know how many seed oils are in your food to be the healthiest version of yourself on top of all those things, right? You need to get some great fruits and veggies and eat your protein and maybe try to teach your kids to do the same. That's freaking hard, right? Yeah. If you can accomplish that, call me up.
You're winning.
Right?
Yeah,
You're winning.
You're winning. Yeah. And stop right there. Like you just don't need to go any further. You've won.
And even I'll say this because I know we have a lot of members in this boat. Like there's something in the water at DoD. We're all having babies. But even postpartum me right now, right? Really, obviously I would love to get back to my pre-baby weight and I want to be able to perform in here the way actually better than I was, right? That's really what I want. I actually don't even care what I weigh. I just want to perform better and feel like myself again. But it's those fundamentals, right? I'm trying to breastfeed a baby. I'm trying to perform really well in the gym. and I'm trying to, lean out. I'm trying to do all three of those things, and it's not that I need some crazy, complex approach to do that, right? I need to eat real food. I need to get real food. By that, I mean not heavily processed, right? Fruits and veggies. I need to get my protein, and I need to stay hydrated, which we haven't talked about at all, but that's a piece of that too, right?
And you need to have your sweets every once in a while.
And if mama's not going to go crazy.
Yeah.
So that brings me close to my mom. We were kind of talking about the, seed oils, whatever. Another part of that is, what is it worth to you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, maybe that 1%, right? But I would sacrifice that 1% for me, in balance, in moderation, the nostalgia of like a little ice cream treat that my mom and I used to have my entire life growing up.
Yeah, that
adds
matters.
so much value to my life. If you're to, well, you can get 1 year back of your life not eating seed oils. I'll give that year up to enjoy making cookies with my kids. I would give it up.
Well, here's the thing.
But
about
we
that.
don't even know that science.
Yeah, no, it's good. But if we're using like broad brushstrokes, right?
Yeah,
And we're talking about the 1%, right? That you could get from focusing on those other little things. I just got to make this point. It's the last percent.
Yeah.
It isn't a guaranteed 1%. So like if you're like not dialed in on your protein and you're eating a lot of garbage,
it doesn't
but you
matter
focus on
anyways.
those other little things, you're not getting 1% on top of your 62% and making it 63%. No, it's only if you want to go from 99 to 100.
Yeah.
That
And that's
stuff
really it.
might
99 to
matter.
100.
Might.
Yeah.
Still unproven.
Yeah.
But so when you get all that other stuff dialed into 99%, come talk to me or Coach Courtney or Coach Jake, right? Come talk to us. But like, I don't see too many people on planet Earth walking around that have nailed this other stuff to 99%.
And here's the thing, right? If you need help getting just the foundations, which is so real, right? Like, how the heck do I eat this protein, a fist at each meal? I don't even know where to start with that, right? How can I eat protein at lunch when I have to go to the office and work and there's nothing there available? Meal prepping sounds so hard to me, all of those things, right? Please, please, please come talk to a coach, talk to Coach Jake. We can help you nail down the foundations.
Sounds like an idea for a future podcast.
I know, right?
What do you think? Maybe we'll deep dive that. Yeah.
I love that. I would love that. And I think a lot of our members would love that too. I know when I was starting out, trying to think about nutrition, even the foundations kind of seemed overwhelming to me, right?
Can be.
Like, what veggies are convenient to eat when I'm a teacher, and then I go straight to CrossFit, and then I got to go to my kids' practice, and then I'm not getting home till 8:00 at night. How do I manage fruits and veggies? I'm not even at my fridge for 12 hours, right?
Hint, it's not a bag of iceberg lettuce.
No, because that won't fill you up.
No, it's not
but
it.
Crunchy snap peas are delicious.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, Court, thanks for the
This
chat.
was super fun.
Thanks for the dialogue.
I hope the members liked it as much as we did.
Yeah.
And I think we would love for this to be ongoing. So like, the more questions, the better.
Yeah.
Really, because it's not about, I think people would love to talk more about nutrition or whatever, right? But it's not about what we want to talk about. It's what the members want to know, what they are curious about. I hope that they can hear this, and, that you guys can hear this and be spurred on, like, oh yeah.
Ask another question.
Yes.
A follow-up.
Let's ask more.
Yeah.
And I know, like, we think it'd be cool to even bring some people in here and get them talking about their experiences and transformations they've had, things that they've learned, where the stuff that we're talking about is not just our word for it, right? It's people who have now done this 5-6 years, or even maybe less, but just seen the effects of what we're talking about, hearing their stories and learning from other people. So,
and we do have some more questions still from the first round.
Yeah.
So we have some more questions that we can get into in another episode. I think we've got some good groundwork here. So.
I know one of the questions was like pregnancy, postpartum stuff. So I try to sneak those in for them. I got you guys.
Yeah. We'll get more of them.
Yeah.
All right, Court.
It'll be awesome.
All right.
Yes.
We'll sign off. We'll sign off now.
DoD Dialogues.
DoD Dialogues.
Come on.
More coming soon. Bye, y'all.